Today's the big day. We're headed to the Airstream International Rally. This is gonna be our first rally ever, and we can't wait to bring you along. All right, let's do this.
Woohoo! Airstream Rally, here we come!
Oh. We were just looking at the dashboard because we have crossed a metric that is mind-blowing. We've traveled the exact distance that would be needed to circle the Earth. And that distance is 24,901 miles. And we've done it all with an Airstream. Unfortunately, the second we crossed that threshold, the low tire pressure warning went off, and I'm about 5 PSI down in one tire, which is very unusual considering they were all perfect last night. So I have to find a place to pull off and take a look at that tire, maybe add some air to it. We're about an hour and 45 minutes, so of course this happens now. We'll make it work. Okay, so here's the catch. On the truck it says it's the rear left tire, but if you know tire sensors, then you know that that might not necessarily be the tire that we're looking at. So I've got a way to manually check the pressure, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do now. So without even checking it, it does look like it is in fact the left rear tire. I can already tell it's low, but I'll check it just to confirm.
Ruh-roh. For comparison, normal tire.
All right, so the plan is I've got a Viair Air Compressor. I'm gonna inflate it to the proper PSI, ride a little bit longer, and see if it drops again. We'll just go from there. I'm gonna roll forward very slowly, and I'm gonna have Lauren just check the grooves, look for any puncture spots. So far I don't see any up top, but doesn't mean there isn't one. Anything?
I don't. This is our handy dandy air compressor, and Dee is hooking it up to the battery of the Airstream.
This is a must-have accessory because kind of like this situation, you never know when you're going to need air, and while some gas stations have air compressors, a lot don't. I've got the PSI up to 57.5. That's in alignment with the rest of the tires. I'm gonna drive down the road a few more miles and see if the PSI drops once again, and if it does, obviously that's another issue. The goal would be to get to the rally, disconnect, and then take the truck to go get checked out. All right, time to hit the road again, fingers crossed. I'm not gonna lie, we've always promised to be 100% real. I'm a little concerned about this tire, and the timing on it could not be worse. Because we have a presenters meeting that we're supposed to be at soon. That was a delay we didn't have in our agenda. It's a little frustrating.
So far, so good. We've been traveling for about an hour, and our tire pressure is holding. Yes.
Overall, it's very odd. I think the strangest thing is that when I went to go get gas this morning, all the tires were the exact same pressure, or at least within 1 or 2 PSI. So to see one particular tire drop 5 to 6 PSI was a little concerning. Fingers crossed we get to the campground and it is non-eventful, because that is the best type of travel, non-eventful travel.
If you have a tire pressure issue, whether it be on your truck or your RV, you want to make sure to check it out as quickly as you can and take it super seriously, because issues with tires are one of the #1 things that lead to big problems with RVs. Thankfully, the tire pressure held, and we made it to our very first Airstream International Rally in Lebanon, Tennessee without any more drama. And yes, all of those little silver dots you see on the ground here, they are all Airstreams. There are about 800 of them here this week. So what exactly do you do at an Airstream rally? If you've been following along on our Wanderlocal adventures, you know we often find ourselves in a pickle, which is exactly what we did right after attending opening ceremonies.
Okay, confession.
Day one.
Here's the scoop. I may or may not have misplaced the Airstream keys at the rally. The good news is that I'm sure it's the only set of Airstream keys at an Airstream rally. Or maybe it's like one of 1,000 sets of keys here. And it may be like a needle in a haystack. So wish us luck. Hopefully we find these keys. Yeah, that's all I got.
I can't make this stuff up though. I just can't. I'm gonna bet you $1 million it's closed.
I think I left them in there. Well, not ideal, but we'll figure it out.
No luck on the keys. Apparently we're gonna have to go lost and found in the morning, but thankfully, I keep a spare set. So we're gonna get to sleep in our own bed tonight. By some lucky stroke of fate, the next morning, our keys were the only set in Lost and Found, making it an uneventful find. But one of the best things about coming to an Airstream rally is the people you meet and get to learn from. And speaking of getting locked out of the Airstream...
Okay, so one of the known problems with Airstreams, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, is the fact that this door, if you leave your camper and you forget your keys, occasionally it will lock behind you. And if you have an Airstream, I know this is not the first time you're hearing this. So, somebody came up with an absolutely brilliant fix for this, and we're going to talk about that today. All right, this is Phil. Tell us a little bit about how you came up with this idea to begin with.
I watched a webinar and they asked Airstreamers to come up with their top 5 problems. The number one problem out of the top 5 was accidentally getting locked out. So it immediately got me to thinking. I went out in the garage and just started trying to come up with a solution because I didn't want to be locked out either. I mean, the real solution is carry an extra set of keys, you know, have them on you. But
right.
Obviously it still happens. So I just came up with this little device right here. When it's on the door, your lock is back. You can put it up into what I call safe mode, and the lock can't trigger. When you get ready to use your door at night, you pivot it back down, your lock functions as normal. Also, as people well know, there's another inherent problem with these handles. They come off. They literally pull off. The fix for this is to lay a washer over the top. The hole is already there. You can drill a 10-30 seconds hole. Then you add another washer. And what I like to do is add a drop of Loctite also. And then you put this screw in. And once you put the screw in and run it down, now you've got a nice solid area here that spreads the load out.
Next, it was time to install Phil's genius Don't Get Locked Out device, which took maybe 5 minutes and just a few basic tools.
That's it. You can now, if this is engaged properly, not get locked out of your Airstream. We're going to actually go ahead and lube the handle while we've got the lock set off. Use a product called BOESHIELD. There are multiple products out there that you can use. It's just my personal preference. There's several points here that a person should lube in these locks, and this is a perfect time to do so. There's many moving areas here of pivot. And it doesn't take a lot, it just takes a small amount. This particular product goes on as a liquid, but it will dry as a waxy film. That's where it gets its lubrication properties from, and it's a very good product. Also doesn't collect dirt and dust. When we lube the locks, it's also a good time to do your hinges. If you listen, there's a slight noise in the hinge. So that's before. Let's see what we can do and make it after. Doesn't take a lot, just a little bit on the hinge pins. Now let's see what the noise level is. Nice, huh?
It doesn't sound like my back on some mornings when I'm getting out of bed.
What I suggest to do to use it is just pinch it. You just pinch it down. Your lock will work as normal. When you get ready to put it into safe mode, you just pinch it up. Now this lock, it cannot trigger.
That is going to save us guaranteed at least 1 or maybe even 2 calls to the locksmith.
It won't save us from Daniel leaving the Airstream keys in random places, but it's a step in the right direction. Another really cool thing about the Airstream International Rally is the flea market, where artisans come together and make awesome stuff for the Airstream. Our rally neighbor Will presented his 90th Airstream anniversary badges that were inspired by his 13 years as a member of the Airstream Club.
When we're traveling these roads of our great country, and those wheels and tires are turning, we're having fun. So I decided to make this the focal point. There's 5 flames on purpose. The very first one is the Great Wally Brime Club. The second one is the one that I love. It's called Freedom and Independence, of taking that trailer and pulling it in the middle of a cornfield or wherever you can park it on the side of the road and have all the comforts of home. I love this one right here. The next 3 is what all of us do. I mean, I've been in the club 13 years, and every other one has got bicycles, got kayaks, canoes, paddle boards. This is that flame. And this last one is hiking and sightseeing. This big 1/4-inch solid aluminum A, what it does is 2 purposes. Of course, it represents the company. Anybody that has an Airstream, you're just a current owner, because there's a family member, a friend, people you don't even know own that Airstream, and then there's somebody after them because they're a lifetime buy, and you never wear one out. The second part of this A is a tribute to the people in Jackson Center, Ohio. From the plant manager to the person out there mowing the lawn, every single one of the people up there, they're not factory workers or associates, they're artists, because they turn out artwork every day. And that's what our Airstreams are, is aluminum artwork. So this gives you a little bit of something that you can customize your trailer with. I mounted these on the Ultrabreeze covers that go on top of their fantastic fans because they're very portable. These covers are very easy to remove and take off. And so that's what this 90-year badge is.
Inspired by Will's story, we wanted to learn more about Airstream's history in the club. If you're curious too, give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, because in our next video, we're taking you to visit the vintage Airstream section of the rally to tour not 1, not 2, but 6 vintage Airstreams, which you won't want to miss. Until then, friend, make sure to wander local this week. It's good for the soul.